Jenny was running through the woods, her heart pounding in her chest. She had been out here for hours, ever since she decided to take a shortcut home from her friend's house. At first, she was filled with a sense of adventure. But as the sun set and the shadows of the trees began to lengthen, a chill of fear settled in her stomach. The sounds of the night began to grow louder and more ominous. She could hear something moving in the undergrowth, and her heart raced faster. She knew she should turn around and go back the way she had come, but something inside her urged her to keep going. Finally, Jenny stumbled upon a clearing. In the center of the clearing was a small cottage, its walls dark and its windows shuttered. She stepped closer and realized that the cottage was larger than it had looked from a distance. It was almost as if the cottage had grown in size as she approached. Jenny stopped in her tracks, her heart pounding with fear. She knew that something was wrong. She could feel an evil presence emanating from the cottage. Taking a deep breath, she stepped closer and looked through the windows. Inside, she could see a young girl. She was dressed in a white nightgown and her hair was long and tangled. The girl was sitting in a corner, rocking back and forth and muttering to herself. Jenny gasped in horror as she realized that the girl was dead. Suddenly, the door to the cottage opened and a tall figure stepped out. Jenny recognized him immediately as the same figure she had seen in her nightmares for the past few weeks. It was the same evil presence she had felt emanating from the cottage. The figure stepped closer, its eyes glowing red in the darkness. The figure spoke in a deep, menacing voice. "You should have stayed away, Jenny," it said. "You have no business here. Leave now, or suffer the consequences." Jenny's fear quickly turned to anger. She had been trying to find her way home, and now she was being threatened. She was about to argue with the figure, but before she could say anything, the figure lunged forward and grabbed her. The figure dragged Jenny into the cottage and threw her onto the floor. It then pinned her down and began to speak in a language she did not understand. Jenny felt her body go cold as the figure's voice echoed around the room. Finally, the figure stopped talking and released Jenny. It then stepped back and smiled. "You are now mine," it said. Jenny scrambled to her feet and ran out of the cottage. She ran and ran until she could no longer hear the evil presence behind her. When she finally reached her house, she collapsed onto the ground, her body shaking with fear. She had escaped the evil figure, but she knew that the nightmare was not over. She had a feeling that the figure would be back, and that it would be coming for her. She had no idea how she would survive this evil presence that had come into her life, but she was determined to try. Thanks for watching.